व्रजजनरञ्जना यशोदानन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जना यमुनातीरावनचारी यमुनातीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अस्तोत्र हिजवांगस अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत समेश्वर प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय। जय गौर आनंदे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 20, entitled The Dynasty of Puru, Shlok number 13. I will get familiar with the Shlok. Shri Shakuntala Uvacha Vishwamitra Eva Aham Tyakta Menakaya Vane Veda Etat Bhagavan Kanvaha Veera Kim Karavam Te. Shri Shakuntala Vacha Vishwamitraatmajayvaham Vishwamitraatmajayvaham Tyakta menakaya vane Vedaitat Bhagavan Kanvo Veerakim Karavam Te. Shri Shakuntala Vacha Vishwamitraatmajayvaham Tyakta menakaya vane Vedaitat Bhagavan Kanvo Veerakim Karavam Te. Shri Shakuntala Vacha Vishwamitraatmajayvaham Tyaktva menakaya vane Vedaitat Bhagavan Kanvo Veerakim Karavam Te. Sri Shakuntala Vacha Vishwamitratmajayvaham Tyaktva menakaya vane Vedatad Bhagavan Kanvo Veera Kim Karavamate. Matajis. Sri Shakuntala Vacha Vishwamitratmajayvaham Tyaktva menakaya vane Vedatad Bhagavan Kanvo Virkim Karavamate. Word by word meaning. Sri Shakuntala Vacha. Sri Shakuntala replied, Vishwamitra Atmaja, the daughter of Vishwamitra. Eva, indeed. Aham, I am. Tyakta, left. Menakaya, by Menaka. Vane, in the forest. Ved, knows. Etat, all these incidents. Bhagavan, the most powerful saintly person. Kanvaha, Kanva Muni. Veera, O hero. Kim, what? Karavam, can I do? Te, for you. Translation by Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Shakuntala said, I am the daughter of Vishwamitra. My mother, Menaka, left me in the forest. O hero, the most powerful saint, Kanva Muni knows all about this. Now let me know, how may I serve you? Purport. Shakuntala informed Maharaja Dushmanta that although she never saw or knew her father or mother, Kanva, Karma Muni knew everything about her. And she had heard from him that she was the daughter of Vishwamitra, and that her mother was Menaka, who had left her in the forest. Om Jnanati Mirandasya Jnananjaya Shalakya Chaksharalumitanena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vikasa Swami Namane. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namane. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatadesh Tarane Mugam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Lingaitam Giriyat Kripatadam Vande Sri Guru Dinataram. So we'll just read the translation again. Shakuntala said, I am the daughter of Vishwamitra. My mother, Menaka, left me in the forest. O hero, the most powerful saint Kanva Muni knows all about this. Now let me know, how may I serve you? So this is a conversation between Shakuntala and Dushyant. As we heard from yesterday's class, this is the dynasty of Puru being discussed, same, wherein Parikshit Maharaj is born, the Pandavas are born, the Kurus are born, and that what is being discussed. And here, in this particular shloka that we get to learn, here is the address of Shakuntala, that the two of them come together. Dushyant, out of his fatigue of hunting in the forest, he meets this beautiful girl Shakuntala, and the conversation begins. And to that, Shakuntala replies that she gives her identity, who she is. And she tells about Vishwamitra being the father. Now a brief about Vishwamitra. Vishwamitra, we get to hear him in Mahabharata, we get to hear him in Ramayana as well. Most of his events of Vishwamitra is given in Ramayana. So, Vishwamitra is basically a Kshatriya, a powerful king, and he happens to meet Vashishta Muni, as he also was going on a expedition for hunting, where he meets Vashishta Muni. And when Vashishta Muni takes care of him, Vishwamitra basically a king that time, the way he serves him with the help of a Kamadhenu cow. So Vishwamitra at that time becomes very much puzzled that how could this Kamadhenu cow could supply all the necessities right from just by going to her, right from the last preparation is delivered by the Kamadhenu cow. So he develops attachment that this cow should be actually belong to the king. The king should be able to make the best use of this cow by feeding the poor. Specifically, when we go on to war, win more kingdoms, then this cow will be able to help the king to give the supplies to the soldiers. So he developed that greed that this cow should be belonging to me. But Vashishta Muni knows the utility of this cow, that this cow is the best cow and it has to be used only to satisfy the Lord. And that, how do I satisfy the Lord? By whatever is given by the cow, you offer it into the sacrifice and satisfy the Lord. But Vishwamitra at that time, not a Vishwamitra as well, he had, I think his name was Kaushik or something. At that particular time, he had developed such a greed that no, it is my right that I need to have this cow. Now, on one side, Vashishta Muni, who owns the cow, and Vishwamitra wants to get that cow by force. So he uses force, he fights a war with Vashishta Muni. But Vashishta Muni easily defeats Vishwamitra. Vishwamitra then thinks that, okay, this particular sage, Vashishta, he has some got power, let me get some power. So he goes, does tapasya, attends some mystic weapons, celestial weapons, Brahmastra. He goes back to attack Vashishta Muni so that he can get the cow. To that, Vashishta Muni just offers him the Brahmadanda. Just by looking at the Brahmadanda, whatever celestial weapons he had fired onto Vashishta Muni, they get neutralized. Vishwamitra realized that this is not going to be easy game. I have to get still more weapons. I have to get more siddhis. So he goes back, and to that, when he starts observing his meditation, whatever procedure is required, Indradev becomes disturbed. He says that, oh, some person on earth is doing some tapasya, and he thinks that maybe that person wants to gain his kingdom. So, as usual, Indradev sends Menaka to lure, to break the meditation of Vishwamitra Muni. Vishwamitra Muni, just by hearing the tingling of the dancing Menaka, he gets attracted and gets married to her and has a baby. This baby is called Shakuntala. So, after just having delivered this baby, Vishwamitra comes to his senses that this is not my goal of life. Family maintenance, though it gave me a little pleasure, this is not what I was looking for. My aim is to go and defeat Vashishta Muni. Anyway, I have to get the cow. It becomes a case of pride for him that I need to have the cow for myself. So that goal was there, and he felt that this is a trap for me. He ran out of this particular bondage of family life. If this case was presented to a materialist, then they would say, they will abuse Vishwamitra, saying, what kind of a man is this? Why he got into a married life that he is not able to take care of a child? They will talk about duties. As a father, he should take care of the child. This is what they will propose. But here we get to see Vishwamitra Muni doesn't pay any heed. He's focused, his goal is there, I need to defeat Vashishta Muni. And he just leaves the baby in the care of Menaka and he leaves to continue with his meditation, sadhana, whatever is required. And on the other side, Menaka, she being a celestial lady, she knows that she has been on an assignment. Though there is a motherly affection, she goes back to do her own duties. Her duties are in heaven. So she leaves the child in the care of Kanav Muni, and where Kanav Muni takes care of the child, and how she has been tutored on good virtues, and how to live a good life. So this is the background. So one interesting thing is, how do we justify what made Vishwamitra to seek what he wants? There's an example given by a famous modern author called Simon Sinek, if you have heard. He gives an example that once he went for a morning athlete run and he was tired, and there he saw, that's in USA, that there was a free bagel. Bagel is some bread. A free bagel being distributed, and he and his friend. Now, Simon, he wanted to eat that bread because it's free. But to get that free bagel, there was a huge line. And his friend was not willing to have that bagel because he saw that big line, whereas Simon Sinek saw only the bagel. So what the point is, it's the focus which matters of what we want to achieve in life. For Simon, it was the bagel. He was ready to be standing in the queue for long hours. But his own friend, fearing this big line, he said, no, I could better go and pay the price for the bagel out. So it's the focus. So now the question is, when we know that it is the focus that we need to be focusing on, then how do I magnify the focus? Focus is there, a goal is there. In the midst of various difficulties, the goal may look very small. But the wise man, what he does is, he has to all the time be seeing the focus. To able to see the focus, one has to magnify the focus. And to magnify the focus, one has to take training. Right? To see that goal in a bigger perspective. And to see that, you need to have a training. And to have a training, what we require is a guru. So Srila Prabhupada, just to give a glimpse of Srila Prabhupada's works, in this modern world, nobody is interested in God consciousness. Everybody is after comfort in their life, luxuries in their life. But Srila Prabhupada, he devised such beautiful temples, beautiful deities, beautiful prasadam, tasty, delicious prasadam, nice music, nice kirtan. Any sane man, he will easily get attracted to this institution called ISKCON because of these niceties in it. But sometimes, some people who are not so sane, who are envious, because when they are being put into some service that you have to do this, they pull back and they fall. They leave ISKCON. Or they find the fright that I have to be doing this, I better be doing what I'm doing. So this is what a less intelligent person actually, or an envious person, usually it's the envy because they see that someone is being worshipped, I'm not being worshipped, the center of the entire gathering is someone else, it's Lord Krishna, not me. So they get frightened. And though they know ISKCON is very nice, they don't see them to be part of ISKCON. So where they live. Now, the beauty of the Guru, or Srila Prabhupada or Vaishnava Guru, is that they open the eyes. They say, Om Agyanati Birandasya Gyananja Shalakya Chakshurulmitena Tasmai Se Guruve Namaha. By the torch of knowledge, they open our eyes. Just like through the help of the Shastras, they make us know that where is God. Otherwise, it's difficult to know where God is. But with the help of Shastras, you can see that God is everywhere. The work the way Srila Prabhupada or Vaishnavacharya designed the sadhana of a particular child or the people who are coming, being part of this particular program, is they have been trained to do their sadhanas as well as to look around for Krishna. And the best way to look for Krishna is devoting one's work for him, devoting one's skills towards him. Just like usually a normal person, normal in the sense not so normal, normal when we say it's a person who is pure, who is devotee of Krishna is considered as normal. Abnormal persons will usually seek, they will do something nice for the material world to be presented, and they will try to get some rewards, some appreciation from public. But these are only short-lived, they can't be sustained. But a person wherein Srila Prabhupada, the way he is designed, when you work for Krishna, and that appreciation by the gurus, by the acharyas, the mentors, it is a long-lasting effect because that's where the purification takes place. Whatever a person would be cooking, it will be for a small set of persons to appreciate that cooking or maybe to get some money out of it. But when person cooks for the Lord, the satisfaction one gets that yes, I have served the Lord. And the purification it has, one is able to remember the Lord all the time, that I am going to cook this for the Lord, for Lord's pleasure. That in wherein the thought of the Lord, the anusmaran, the smaran of the Lord brings in the purification, and then automatically the satisfaction comes. Whether one is good at construction, the aim is there that I am doing this for the Lord throughout 24 hours. But the same construction skill one uses for a materialist, he says that, how do I fool this materialist and get this money into my pocket? The focus is completely different. For devotional service is how do I please the Lord? And as you please the Lord, it gives the satisfaction to the heart. But whereas in the material world is how do I satisfy this nasty, cruel boss who is eating my head, he's made my day worse. Somehow or the other, I have to fool him and put that money into my pocket. This is what a normal, again, it's a regular person would be thinking. But when a person works for Krishna, it is all around. Be it whatever skills, it is for the Krishna's pleasure. And one does this throughout the day, he's able to relate with Krishna, he's able to see Krishna everywhere. Just like Prahlad Maharaj, just like in 15th chapter, when you take shelter of this 15th chapter, we know that Krishna is everywhere. How? The where on the earth which we are standing is floated by Lord Sri Krishna. The sunlight which we get is again the sun is coming from Krishna. The vegetables which we eat, the juice in those vegetables or on the fruits is again by the moonshine, which is again Krishna. What we consume is digested by Krishna. The strength after consuming it is given to us by Krishna. Krishna is there in our heart. Krishna is there in the Shastras to show me what exactly is the goal of life. How do I see him around the place? So, this is what a Vaishnava does, a Guru does, is 360 degrees. Our consciousness is only about Krishna. This is against opposed to what materialists would do. So it's the necessity that we get to see a Guru should be there and he trains them. So the other side is there are two focuses. One is something which is very nice and which is a long term. And another one is something which is very pleasing. Prayas and Shreyas. Shreyas is which is long term. Initially it may not give us the pleasure, but towards the end it will give us the pleasure. Prayers is something immediate, what I would be able to get immediately from doing this activity. So, one should know this science of detachment, that how do I let go prayers and hold on to Shreyas. And for that, we have to take the eyes of the Shastras, the help of the Shastras. We'll have to look the world through the eyes of Shastras and Guru. The first important thing is to understand that I'm into this prison house. Somehow or the other, I've fallen into this prison house, and I need to be able to see the pain, that the pain of birth, old age, disease, death. When we focus on these pains, there's another focus, which is the negative side, that we should be able to focus that this material world is very painful. We should be able to see only the negative side of this particular world, the pains it gives to us. Then the Vairagya Vidya, the knowledge about renunciation will fructify in our heart. Then we'll be able to see this actually body is nothing but an illusion for us. It is just producing some desires, and in the chase of these desires, we make our life hell. We take out the pleasure of what a spiritual life would be. But our focus is only when body is there, it produces all the urges that we discussed yesterday. The urges of the tongue, of the skin, of the ears, of the nose. And in that pursuit of satisfying, we get caught of our real self-interest, that we are a spirit soul. We forget completely. So much so that whatever is actually spiritual life becomes material life, and whatever is material life becomes spiritual life. Just like so much darkness is there that we are not able to distinguish that we are a spirit soul. We are able to think only on a bodily platform. This is one of the reasons where people, they come to ISKCON, they see, oh, they're doing nice things, they're feeding some poor people. That's what they see. When the prasad is offered, they see that actually it's a food which is being offered, but they don't understand it's a spiritual food. This is the same food. When taken by the persons, it will spiritualize their brains, finer tissues. It will be easy for them to understand spiritual matters. But for a mundane person, this looks just like an ordinary food. So that's what illusion is all about. And then there'll be a tug of war. A spiritual side tells me to do this, whereas my material body is pushing me to do this. But only when we have the right sangha, the right reading of the Shastras, one would be able to win this tug of war. One side, our Atma, that I have to be on the path of self-realization, and the other side is the pulling of the body, the bodily needs, the bodily demands. And there's a fight every moment in our life. Day in, day out. But only person who is surrounded by sadhus, their mentors, who shake them up, wake them up, that what you're doing is wrong, focus on your spiritual life. Otherwise, because the body is with us, and the body is the one which gives us all the tricks it does on us to forget us that we are a spirit soul. So it's a necessity that we are in midst of sadhus. Then automatically, as I said, that Vairagya Vidya comes in. Once you know that bodily demands is nothing but a pit, whereas Andhakupam, there's nothing but pain at the end. Srila Prabhupada gives an example. It says, the combination of this body and the soul is nothing but one has to make use of the bad bargain. Body is pulling in one side, the soul has to have a journey in some other side, completely opposite. Srila Prabhupada gives an example that just like sometimes a person becomes diseased by taking a lot of milk products or milk, and he falls sick. The only remedy for that is the same milk. If you convert into yogurt or curd and you drink it, that will purify, that will cure the stomach disease which is caused by the milk. So similarly, whatever activities a body would have asked for, a body would ask for nice food, the same food we take as Krishna Prasad. A body wants to hear something nice stories. It will go to look out for something what is there crap. It will go for look into newspapers. But on the other side, we have nice literatures. The same inquisitiveness which is there in our heart, we want to know what's happening. The same can be dovetailed to read Shastras, to read about Srimad Bhagavatam. Then we will able to purify ourselves. This is tug of war. This is how you make best use of the bad bargain. We are already a lost battle, but the victory is only by purifying our senses. So whatever skills we have, we need to be using in Krishna consciousness, and that will purify us. One more, Srila Prahlad Maharaj, in his teachings, he talks about the real problem. The real problem with each one of us is basically we do not know our Swartha Gatim. Swartha is our selfish nature. Selfish means self. But at present, what we are is only body fish. We are only thinking of how do I satisfy the body. And that's wherein the lusty desire comes in. Lust is nothing but the demands of the body. When the demands of the body disturbs us, we become out of focus. And that's in where the complete illusion, when we have completely left the shelter of sadhu and shastras, basically then we become delusioned and we are acting on a bodily platform. So it's all andhakupam, where a normal person, a person would dig up a well, and as he goes, he's least assured that as he dig up, he will get water. Wherever he digs, at least wherever place is there, and of course he's not digging up in a rocky area, but wherever mud is there, if he goes deeper, he'll be able to find water. But a person who is in need, who is seeking pleasure, the duty of a soul is also to seek pleasure. But seeking pleasure, thinking that I will get permanent pleasure in family life, that's where the beginning of andhakupam is. We will be digging up for pleasure, but only what we'll get is nothing but only anxiety. We will see, okay, we tried this today. Maybe I did something wrong. I would put my more efforts tomorrow. I'll work hard and I'll try to get pleasure. But this is never ending. The well is without any pleasure. It is just you go on digging and digging till we get frustrated. So the entry into the family life itself is beginning. Let's see how it happens. When you enter a family life, then you have relationships. You have relations, your own relations, your wife's relationship. And then when you have relationship, we have taken something, gift from them. You have to give gift back to them. So one has to work hard. Not even that. You have to impress to them how intelligent I am, how much money I've made, how famous I am. So all this takes a lot of endeavor just to satisfy the relationships, all the relatives what we have. And when it is not sufficient, one sends his spouse, his wife, to work. Because the modern society, it's very difficult to make both ends meet with only one person working. So he has to send his wife to work. And the wife, when she goes to work, she brings the work home. Not the work as such, the entire picture of what happened entire day, she starts telling it to her husband, to her children, or to her whoever is sister or brother. The entire office is brought to home at night in the evening. Whatever happened in the morning, the poor fellows has to listen, to give ear to that particular katha of what actually happened what happened in the office. This is, I suppose, happening in everyone's house, where whose sister is working, whose mother is working, whose wife is working. Unnecessarily, we have to give ears to this particular, whatever happened in the office. And result, the focus is lost. The focus of, I am being in prison and I need to come out from this prison. This is completely lost. So, what's the solution? The solution is to see the reality. and reality to the eyes of Shastras. So, somehow it is said that in somewhere in Srimad Bhagavatam, I can't get exactly where it is, the relations are nothing but sticks floating on the river or on the sea. Due to time, a particular set of sticks, they come together, and after some time, they go away. One should not be worried about such sticks. This is just induced by time that the sticks are coming closer, and next day or for the next following time, another set of sticks will come together. Nobody should take those association of sticks so seriously. Recently we learned from Devyani, the Yayati and Devyani episode, where Devyani, she got realized immediately that all this relationship between husband and wife or even relationship is nothing but people coming in a hotel, staying for some time and living. So one cannot be taking that relationship so serious that we are here for 3-4 days. Yes, we are talking to each other, we are describing each other's experience, but that doesn't mean that one should get hooked to that particular person and think that this is my life. If the other person is not providing me the sense gratification, my life is miserable. My life is doomed. This is actually what actually happens in the modern world, where male and female, they come together, and for some reason, they move in different directions. Because the one person has some goal, the other person is simply attached, then the other person falls into depression. He thinks that this is my only life partner. All the pleasures was coming through this, and the other person is gone, means my life is gone. There is no more pleasure left in this life. All is remaining for me is sadness, miseries. And the people, then such persons, they commit suicide. There's no interest in their life. So Devyani knew, suddenly she got the realization after hearing the katha of she-goat and he-goat, she got realized that yes, this is a temporary situation. Another example is given is of a train, where when a moving train, people have different destination because train is from A to Z, and people need to get down at B, D, E, F, whatever stations they are. And during the journey, people talk, they distribute some food, they distribute their experiences. But that doesn't mean that one person has to develop attachment, and instead of getting at one particular station, he forgets getting down at the particular station. Because the goal is there. As long as the goal is there, the journey would be complete. But the goal is forgotten, means the person would be staying there itself. That should not be our fate. In modern world, specifically in IT world, we have something called projects, where people come together, specialists come together, we work on a particular project, we develop some friendship, but again at the end of the project, we all depart. So this is to show that this is all temporary relationship. Our relationship is only with Krishna and nothing else. We have forgotten that relationship, we have to revive that relationship. We cannot be bound by temporary relationship. Now, this just trying to understand what Vishwamitra did was right or wrong. We have another examples to see. Anybody maybe have heard of Sant Tukaram? He is from Maharashtra. He had perfected his life by chanting the holy name of the Lord day in, day out. His wife was a materialist. She was attached to family, children, money. So Tukaram came to know that time has come for me to go back to Godhead. He was inspired in his heart that so and so time Garuda would come personally to take him back. Tukaram, he extended that invitation to his wife. You being a chaste wife to me, you have served me nicely. Why don't you join me into this journey of going back to Godhead? Tukaram went in his gross body itself. There was no need for him to change drop his gross body. But in his same gross body he went and he extended an invitation to his wife. But the foolish wife, being attached to The family, she said, who will take care of the children? They will be all left alone. Who will feed them? And she thought that, oh, Tukaram must be telling his old, he is kind of not so intelligent, he doesn't understand, he's just crazy, he's hallucinated. But what you get to see is, at that particular time, in midst of all the devotees, the kirtan is going on, Tukaram is welcomed by a Garuda. Tukaram takes that flight and he goes away. News reached to the wife that Tukaram has left, and she comes running, but it's too late. She missed the train of getting a ticket, not even ticket, getting to board of going back to Godhead. She completely lost it. Just by mere attachment to her children, how they will grow, who will take care of them. Another example we have of Sidhar Swami Maharaj. Sidhar Swami is a very famous person in our line, who was basically from a school of Shankara, a Mayavad by training, but in his heart he was a devotee of Lord Sri Krishna. So he was always wanted to take devotion and wanted to take sannyas. Somehow he got married. After getting married, he saw his wife becoming pregnant. So in his heart, I want to take sannyas. But now, what to do? My wife is pregnant. I can't leave her now in this situation. And after the wife delivers the baby, the mother dies. Oh no! Now who will take care of this particular baby? I have to stay back now. All my dreams of taking sannyas is shattered. So he was just thinking like this. And Lord Sri Krishna is everywhere. He comes as a guru, Chaita Guru. He sees a small lizard falling from the ceiling, and it is just trying to wriggling. The small lizard looks like for food. And another insect, by the divine arrangement, comes to the mouth of this particular small lizard. The small lizard, the baby lizard, eats that insect, and then Sidhar Swami realizes, nothing doing. The Lord has made all the arrangement. Nitya Nityanam, Chaitas Chaitanam. Eko Bhunam Vididati Kaman. The Lord, the difference between the similarity between the Jiva and difference between the Supreme Lord is that though both are Nitya Nityanam, is both. The Lord is eternal, the Jiva is eternal. The Lord is cognizant, the Jiva is also cognizant. He is knowledgeable. But the main difference is whatever desires produced by the Jiva, the Lord alone supplies them. So this was there. Yes, the Lord will take care. I don't have to be worrying about this particular family situation. My only goal is, how do I come out from this prison life, of this bodily life? How do I come out from this prison life? Same example of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Though he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we cannot put him into this category of jivas, because their life becomes an inspiration for them. But to show by examples, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, just like an ordinary person, just like an ordinary devotee, just for a bigger cause, he gave up his family life. He gave up his elderly mother. He gave up his young, beautiful wife, just for a bigger cause. Who will maintain? The Supreme Lord will maintain them. This was his thought. Arjuna, another example, where he felt the obstacle to serve Krishna is my guru, and the punishment coming out from killing the guru. The obstacle is my old grandfather, Vishwamitra. If I kill them, I have to be seeing the hell. On social norms also, this is the worst thing anybody could do about. But he could see, Krishna is my life and soul. I am meant to serve Krishna. I need to do whatever it takes to serve Krishna. No matter who is there in front of, I can even sacrifice my own son, only to give pleasure to Krishna. So this should be the thought process of everyone. Srila Prabhupada, his mission, how do I spread this Krishna consciousness, Lord Chaitanya's mission, to every corner of the world? His own wife was an obstacle. She was not following what he would ask her of. So much so that she was a hindrance. Whatever she had written at the back in the sense, he was trying to save Krishna's energy by writing in the back of paper. Whatever notes he had of Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, was all sold by his wife for a small packet of biscuit. Then he decided what you want in life. It's me or tea. Srila Prabhupada was not attached to his wife in the sense he had affection. That it's my responsibility that I need to take them out from the cycle of birth and death. I need to give them love of Krishna. But he knew that his wife was stubborn. She will not be able to give up her materialistic life. Then he himself gave up for a bigger cause. Bigger cause is how do I satisfy Lord Chaitanya's mission. That is purifying, this is satisfying to my heart. So in the entire picture, we get to see that these great people, they don't see that, they see that these particular things, items which they give up, is actually giving them bodily comforts, bodily facilities. They are nothing to do, they don't touch the soul. They do not fulfill the requirement of the soul. The soul's requirement is to be serving Krishna. When they see this, they immediately give up. They are able to see that vision, and that vision is because of coming out of purification. It's quite clear, big enough to see that particular big goal. Now there are other examples who did not do what the self is actually looking for. The example is of Srila Prabhupada often talks about people of when he visited many of his rich people. People will become ghosts. People will become cockroaches and rats into the same house out of attachment, bodily attachment, that this is my house, this is my money, this is my position. They could never ever leave that small circle of a small dwelling. This is what actually happens of Andhakupam. So much attachment that one cannot free that attachment. People become ghosts, they become cockroaches, they become rats, trying to protect. Oh, this is my property, I need to enjoy it, somebody will take it. This is the mentality. This is the mentality. So, Tukaram's own wife, she couldn't get it. And the most important we get to hear from Srimad Bhagavatam is Bharat Maharaj, who gave up his, at the age of 25, beautiful wife, wonderful children, gave up. But when he went to the forest, a simple, small baby deer was enough for him to fall into this trap of Maya. Result, he had to take birth again. From the stage of bhava, he had to fall. Such a huge fall. It's a very drastic fall. Just for a kind of attachment that who will take care of this particular deer. He forgot at this moment that Krishna is there. He has made all the arrangement. If he has created someone, there is someone to take care of also. But he forgot. Our life should not be in such situations where we forget we may be worshipping Krishna, but if we do not know his supreme duty is that he is providing for everyone. We don't have to be worrying too much about it. We have to just see that we satisfy Krishna's instruction. So before we conclude, we'll once again look at this particular beautiful shloka. Okay, just looking at the way Shakuntala puts it, Shakuntala said, I'm the daughter of Vishwamitra. My mother Menaka left me in the forest. O hero, the most powerful saint, Kanav Muni, knows all about this. Now let me know how may I serve you. Now here, you get to see that Menaka, Shakuntala is giving introduction of herself that she being the daughter of Vishwamitra. The father is given that identity that yes, the seed is of the father and the job of a mother is only to take care. She puts the blame on her mother Menka, kind of, that she left me into that particular, in the forest. That's the beauty, that to see how cultured she was, that to be able to see in the modern world, people would say that my father did not provide this, my father did not provide that, my mother took care of it, so I give up my father. This is not possible. The father is the seed-giving seed. Though ultimately Krishna is the seed-giving father, but it's a father. It's outward respect for the father, for Vishwamitra, what she is, what position he is. And she kind of takes to Menaka that she's who put her into the forest. So the duty of the mother is to take care of the child. It's quite clear into this particular verse. And she gives an example that Kanav Muni, I'm not saying this, it's Kanav Muni's, you can take it from Kanav Muni. So, to conclude, is one should develop spiritual intelligence. And how is that spiritual intelligence is developed? Is only by sadhu sang and reading shastras. And in that, Vairagya Vidya will automatically sprout in our heart. There is nothing for us to make extra endeavor, to be austere, to make things, to give up something in our life. It will be automatically, just like adhesive which is there. Initially, if you peel up a sticker, initially the stick is there, the gum is there, it's going to stick. But over a period of time, if you keep it, stick it and pull it up, the sticker will lose its gluey property, and that sticker will no longer be able to glue anything. So that's way our ability of reading shastras, of sadhu sang, will remove our attachment towards this material world. So in the midst of all the devotees, then when you get to see that others are doing it, that thought process will come. Why can't I? If everybody else is doing it, so why can't I? So it looks, big thing becomes very small by the association of devotees. Hare Krishna. If anyone has any question, some protest, some comments to add. Hare Krishna. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय.